My first encounter with a BMW was nung grade school ako. At that time, hindi ko alam na BMW 3 Series yun. Pero maliit na sedan yun. And lagi ko siya nakikita sa grounds and gandang-ganda ako sa kanya. Yun nga lang, wala ko alam sa kotse nun. And yung family car namin nun was a Wrangler. Pero fast forward to today and with my current career as a motoring journalist, ang dami ko na drive. Pero isa pa rin ang gustong-gusto ko talagang auto, which is the BMW 3 Series. The good thing about it is that BMW Philippines introduced a lower priced, or let's say the entry-level variant of the BMW 3 Series, which is the 318i Sport. That was just last year, October. And para sa mga nag-a-aspire na magkaroon ng BMW na rear-wheel drive and a sedan, it is your entry point. Now, the question is it any good? Or is it something na worth aspiring to as someone na gusto ng luxury car and a German brand at that? My name is Jacob Oliva, your content manager for Philkotse.com. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel para lagi kayong updated sa mga videos namin. Tandaan, sabi nga ni Stanley, merong kasabihan, Philkotse is the #1 car portal in the Philippines. Dito tayo sa harap. Of course, you have the signature kidney grille ng BMW. Thankfully, it's not as huge as those that you will find with the M4 and the 4 Series. Now you have LED headlights and LED daytime running lights, and of course, your LED fog lamps. Now what's great about the 318i Sportline trim is, Sportline nga siya. So less chrome, which is something that fits my taste. Actually, makikita nyo lang na chrome trim sa harap ng BMW is the thing that outlines the grille. But other than that, puro black na. You have this one, black, and sa other parts ng kotse. And makikita nyo naman, malapad siya. For the uninitiated, hindi mo siya mapapansin na 3 Series lang siya. Actually, pag tingnan mo siya malayo, mukha siyang 5 Series. Pero yung lapad niya, it gives the car an imposing and athletic stance na something na magandang tignan, lalo na sa sedan. Under the hood, a 2-liter inline-4 BMW engine that's coded B48. It has twin-scroll turbo, hindi twin-turbo, magkaiba yun. Check nyo na lang uli yung article ni Caesar. Now, this gasoline engine makes 156 horsepower and 250 Nm of torque. It's mated to an 8-speed torque converter steptronic automatic transmission. Siyempre, as a 3 Series, and sabi ko nga kanina, that power is sent to the rear wheels. Nice! In the city, switching in between comfort and sport modes, I was able to get around 9.2 km per liter. At the highway, with cruise control set at 90 km per hour, I was able to get 18.1 km per liter. For a luxury sedan, those numbers are great, by the way. Sa gulong naman tayo, 18-inch alloys na may V-spokes. Now, you have disc brakes on all fours. If makita nyo ngayon, hindi naman siya ganun kalaki yung disc brakes, pero in practical use or meaning when you're driving it, hindi naman siya kulang. Now, pasasalamatan nyo yung BMW Philippines for giving this car the Sportline trim, because if you can see the base model ng 318i sa ibang bansa, 16 inches lang yung gulong and medyo boring yung design. Now, sa Pilipinas, you have the Sportline trim na kasama tong two-tone design. Just para sa akin, ang ganda na itsura niya. Nice! Nga pala, the 3 Series ever since 3 generations ago, not sure, meron siyang run flat tires. Meaning, if suddenly mabutasan ka ng gulong or mawalan na hangin yung gulong mo, itong sidewall na to is sturdy enough para makapunta ka sa nearest na vulcanizing shop para mapagawa mo yung gulong mo. And that's a good thing since it will save weight since wala kang dalang spare tires, and dagdag security na rin yun for you, let's say nagta-travel ka ng malayo. Down at the sides, this is probably the most interesting part of the 3 Series. Yes, it's a sedan, but then again, the proportions are kind of sporty because mahaba yung hood mo, maikli yung deck, pero ang ganda niya talagang tignan, mukha siyang sports car if you'll use that word loosely. Now, as a Sportline trim, you have black accents again. And then, ito yung favorite part ko eh. Meron siyang interesting na character line from that panel hanggang dito na mukha siyang swoosh. If mahilig ka sa sapatos, I'm sure familiar sa iyo. And of course, this part na signature na ng BMW since the 1960s, which is the Hofmeister kink. What is that exactly? Usually, yung mga sedans, pagdating dito sa part na to is nagsasara sila with a sharp corner. But for BMW, for some reason, medyo binilugan nila or iniba nila yung execution and design. It became a signature for the brand up until today. Medyo hindi halata at first glance, pero the 3 Series is actually bigger than a Civic, pero smaller than the Accord in overall length. But the more surprising about it is that it has a longer wheelbase at 2,850mm, which should translate to more space. But more on that later. Nga pala, 3 Series, lagi nang kasama yung ganitong trunk lid na medyo para siyang paangat na ganyan, na mukha siyang spoiler. That has been a staple since the previous generation or since the 90s actually. And para sa akin maganda siyang addition and lalong-lalo siya nagpapasporty sa dating niya. And of course, dito tayo sa likod. As a sportline trim, you have the black accents dito sa baba and dito sa reflectors. And you have, of course, the BMW logo and the L-shaped taillights. Now, I won't lie, mas gusto ko yung previous generation kasi parang mas may angas siya. Pero ang maganda sa current generation 3 Series is kamukha niya or kahawig niya yung likod ng 7 Series and 8 Series. And that's a good thing kasi kung hindi ka talaga fan ng BMW, hindi mo alam if you're looking at a small 3 Series or the larger 7 Series na syempre mas mahal. Now let me take this time para i-discuss yung naming convention ng BMW na totoo namang nakakalito and one of the most inconsistent sa kanila, especially nowadays. Now you have 3 here that tells you it's a 3 Series. The next 2 numbers are usually the displacement of the engine. The problem lang with this generation is that yung base variant and the next one, which is the 318i, pareho yung displacement ng engine, which is a 2.0 liter. But then again, para ipakita na lower yung power output ng base variant, binabaan nila yung number. Just weird, but it is what it is. Another thing, yung I, it tells you that it's a gasoline engine. Sa mga diesel variant ng BMWs, di yung nakalagay dyan. And sa spec sheet, you have S-Drive and X-Drive. S-Drive tells you that it's a rear-wheel drive. X-Drive tells you that it's all-wheel drive. Hirap, di ba? Nga pala, a base variant with dual exhaust tips. Nice! And trunk. As you can see, meron siyang power function. It has over 400 liter space. But then again, you can't fold the rear backrest, so hindi mo siya pwedeng extend to accommodate longer items. So I guess that sucks. But the good thing about it is that you have extra storage spaces here na pwede mo lagyan ng ibang gamit. And meron kang 12-volt socket na let's say magka-charge ka ng cooler or charge mo yung phone mo sa loob ng bag mo habang nasa likod, which doesn't make sense. Pero you can do that with a 318i. Okay, loob naman tayo. At 3 million pesos, hindi ka mag-expect ng kulang sa BMW. BMW yan eh. And nabigay naman yun even at the base variant. So, you have soft touch materials. Actually, I'm struggling to find a hard plastic na part sa loob na to. Except siguro dito sa shiny piano black accents or sa shiny piano black sa center console. So, ingat-ingat ka lang sa gas-gas. And dito tayo sa steering wheel na ang ganda ng size, saktong-sakto, pati yung grip niya, ang ganda ng pagkakalagay. Pero pinaka-noticeable sa kanya is yung material. It's leather, but it's a different kind. I'm just not sure what exactly, pero ang ganda niya sa pakiramdam. For the gauge cluster, you have a very clean execution. Analog siya, sa totoo lang. You have 2 analog gauges. Pero ang ganda nung dating niya kasi mukha siyang digital. It's the most digital looking analog gauge clusters sa mga kotse na na-test ko. Now, yung upuan mo naman, it's electronic, pati sa passenger. And another thing is, pwede mo i-adjust yung bolsters mo. Meaning, if medyo malapad ka like myself, pwede mo siyang luwagan. Now, if medyo manipis ka, medyo sexy ka, pwede mo siyang sitipan para pag sa winding roads or sa mountain passes, you won't be thrown around the car, di ba? Sa gitna, you have your BMW iDrive 8.8 inches infotainment system na ang ganda ng design, ang ganda ng execution ng icons, malinis, Actually, isa sa mga pinamagandang features ng BMW yun, yung infotainment system nila. And yung parking camera display mo, nandito na rin, kasama yung sensors na graphically ipapakita niya kung gaano ka nakalapit dun sa tatamaan mo. Yun nga lang pala, yung infotainment system, wala siyang Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Pero hindi naman siya ganun kalaking problema because like myself, I use iPhone. Pero yung connectivity niya is, you just plug it in and ma-recognize naman niya na iPhone siya. And seamless lang din naman yung integration. Wala nga lang siyang display ito like an iPhone. But that's a nitpick lang. Now, pagbaba mo, nandun yung aircon vents and isa naman yun talaga sa maganda sa BMW. Ang ganda ng clustering ng controls. You have the aircon here, you have the audio here, you have the infotainment control here, and you have the driving controls here. So, hindi ka malilito kahit first time mong umupo sa kanya. So, dito naman tayo sa pinakabagong segment ng Philkotse Reviews, which is, saan ang phone mo? For the BMW 318i Sport, you have it here na may cover, pero nandito yung cup holders mo, and nandito yung smartphone mo. Kasya naman siya sa mga malaking phones ngayon. But the problem lang is, kahit may logo ng wireless charger dito, sadly, wala siyang wireless charging capability. So sakto lang yung phone mo. What you have to do is to buy an L-shaped charger para hindi siya masira pag nilagay mo siya dito. And sakto yung space niya. May cover ka pa, di ba? Speaking of cup holders, may bottle holders ka sa magkabilang pinto and kasya naman itong malaking bote, pero hindi siya kasya dito. So, kaya na bumili ng golf na malaki. Tiis-tiisin mo na lang doon sa maliit. Pero, storage space, hindi nagkulang ang BMW because aside from that, smartphone cradle there, you have a console box na pwede mo lagyan ng barya, cards, or whatever, na meron din siyang USB charger, USB-C nga lang. And that's actually one of the few annoyances lang sa 318i because you have USB-C ports and one USB na normal. So it's either you'll be forced to buy an Android phone or buy the iPhone 12 na may Lightning to USB-C, or if you have the lower iPhone models, bumili ka lang ng bagong cable. Or actually, hindi mo naman siya problema. If bibili ka ng BMW, I'm sure may pambili ka ng bagong phone, diba? Another thing na maganda din sa loob is yung leather ng seats. Ang ganda ng texture niya. It's rough, pero it's not the annoying rough. And malambot yung cushioning. Pero ang ganda niya talaga sa pakiramdam. And one more, you have leg extenders. Let's say sobrang tangkad mo, you're 7-footer or 8-footer. Pero may extend to para masupport niya yung leg mo the way you want it to. And one more, you have ambient lights. For base variant, that's already a plus, diba? Nakakamiss din mag-review ng likod na. Anyway, so you have materials here that reflects what's in the front. So you have soft touch materials na ang sarap sa pakiramdam na alam mong mahal. And you also have ambient lights na nandito sa pinto. And you have bottle holders sa magkabilang pinto. Malaki din siya pero sa harap. The problem lang is wala siyang foldable na armrest dito. So that's something na siguro hanapin mo. But then again, you're talking about the base variant, so it is what it is. Pero you have aircon vents here na may sariling controls. So, hindi ka makikipaghagawan sa harap and masaset mo rin yung temperature na para sa'yo kung nakaupo sa likod. Siyempre, meron ka ding USB ports, USB-C nga lang, and you have a 12-volt socket dito. As for space, this is my driving position and I'm 5'6". And masasabi ko na I don't feel really crowded here kahit mag-slouch pa ako. And it feels really comfortable kasama na yung lambot ng upuan and yung space na binibigay niya sa'yo. Although, it's notable to say na perfect to para sa dalawang tao or sa mag-shota, gusto niya mag-holding hands dito. Ang ganda, di ba? Pero kung may pangatlo ng epal sa gitna, medyo masikip na and medyo mahirap since rear-wheel drive to, mataas yung center tunnel mo dito. And maganda dito, you have multiple speakers within the cabin na umaabot hanggang dito sa pinto sa likod. They're not the best sounding in the planet, pero okay naman siya. Actually, more than okay siya for the price. May enjoy nyo naman yung tunog kahit nandito ka sa likod. Of course, BMW, ano pa bang masasabi mo? It's the ultimate driving machine. So, kahit sa entry-level na kotse like this one, this is 3 Series, ang sarap niya i-drive. I mean, this is not the most powerful within the 3 Series range. Pero, hindi ka mabibitin sa kanya. One important factor for that is the transmission. Sabi ko nga kanina, this car is equipped with the 8-speed ZF transmission, which is also found in the Supra and in the Z4. Now, ang maganda dun is, when you want the power, like kailangan mo mag-downshift, kahit hindi mo gamitin yung paddles or gamitin yung manual selector, immediate yung pag-downshift niya. Merong 3 driving modes ang 318i, which are Sport, Comfort, and Eco Pro. Personally, I prefer driving at comfort kasi it's a perfect balance of performance and comfort. Siyempre, sa sport mode, as usual, ibababad niya yung RPM mo sa high revs para mas mabilis yung pag-accept niya ng inputs mo. Just something na siguro kailangan mo kapag you're driving at twisties and kailangan mo ng immediate inputs. Pag Eco Pro naman, which is something na tinry ko kanina sa highway, ini-enable niya yung coasting, meaning sobrang baba ng revs mo when you're at speeds, which is very good for fuel economy. Well, kahit naman naka BMW 3 series ka, syempre importante pa rin naman yung fuel economy. Now, the 318i has tech nannies na ma-appreciate mo if you're into technology. Pero kung nitpicker ka, let's say, ayaw mo ng technology sa kotse, well, hindi to para sa'yo. Because you have electronic parking brake, you have auto hold, which is sobrang sarap traffic pag stop and go situations. Just press your brakes and then pwede mo bitawan kasi naka-auto hold nga. You also have cruise control, although wala ka adaptive cruise control, which is something that you'll find in pricier BMWs. Pero sa 3 Series, you have the usual normal cruise control na madaling gamitin. Another thing na maganda sa 3 Series is wala ka masyadong blind spots. Well, mainly because this 8-wheeler is moved forward. So, mas kita mo ngayon yung corner mo, yung left-hand corner mo. Handling-wise, isa naman yan sa maganda sa 3 Series. Well, mainly because it's rear-wheel drive. So, ang ganda ng control mo sa kanya. And one thing na pagpapasalamat mo sa BMW is giving this car a relatively tight steering. Hindi mo naman kailangan maging sobrang lakas just to turn. Pero, ang maganda sa kanya is it's stable. Let's say you're running at speeds like 60 or 80. It's stable and hindi siya malikot, which is something na important and medyo hindi napapansin ng mga tao when they're running at speeds. Let's say sa highway, nakakapagod mag-correct ng steering kapag malikot yung sasakyan. But with this car, even at base level trim, ang ganda nung pagiging stable niya, especially at speeds. Isa pa na maganda sa BMW is yung driving position. Ang dali niyang hanapin. And dahil nga may bolstering siya na pwede mo i-adjust, hindi siya nakakapagod kahit ang tagal mo nang drive. And more importantly, sobrang maliit lang to na bagay. Pero kasi yung floor mo sa driver's side is para siyang pababa, down to the pedals. So ano nagagawa nun? Maganda dun is nakapahinga yung paa mo. Hindi siya strained, hindi siya stressed. So yun, long drives, sobrang hindi ka makapagod. Which is something na dapat naman talaga for a luxury car. Yun nga yung binabayaran mo, di ba? Medyo mas malaki talaga siya eh. So pagka sa kalsada, especially at first seating, let's say ngayon ka pala mag-BMW, at first seating, parang hindi siya compact. So medyo iingat-ingat ka lang. Although after a while, after like a day or two, nasanay ka rin and hindi naman talaga siya mahirap tansyahin. Good thing about it is that with this 3 Series, even at base form, meron na siyang rear camera na sobrang linaw. Especially when compared to other Japanese sedans. Sorry about that, pero totoo. And yung guidelines niya is dynamic na, so matatansya niya if pasok ka talaga sa space even when you're turning. Let's say you're doing a parallel parking, madali mo siya matatansya. And by the way, when you're backing down or pag umaatras ka, yung right side mirror mo automatically tilts down so that hindi mo matatamaan yung right side corner mo or hindi mo matatamaan yung gulong mo, which is something special. Nakita niyo naman kayo na, di ba? Driving the 318i, the first thing you'll notice is yung ang ganda nung isolation ng noise niya from the outside. I mean, right now, we're currently on a not so ideal road. Medyo semento siya na medyo maraming mga crack surfaces. Pero hindi mo siya nararamdaman, hindi mo siya naririnig. And especially, that's because of the thick panels. Ang ganda ng insulation na nilagay ng BMW. Plus, a combination of the independent suspensions sa harap and sa likod. Nice! Overall, the BMW 318i para sa akin is the Goldilocks zone. Kasi in terms of size, it's not as big as a 5 Series. And yung power naman, if hindi ka naman nag-ahanap ng sobrang horsepower and torque, this is just enough for daily drives, or if lalabas ka ng syudad, it's above your average Japanese sedan. Okay, start na tayo mag-grade. For aesthetics, it's a 3-box sedan na maganda sa malayo at maganda sa malapit. And kahit sa loob, ang ganda ng execution and design. And sabi ko kanina, it's the Goldilocks zone for BMW. So for aesthetics, I'm giving the BMW 318i Sportline a 4 out of 5. So for performance, this car will give you a sort of sporty drive without losing touch when it comes to luxury and comfort. Pero let's also give space para sa mga mas powerful na variants within the BMW 3 Series range. So for performance, I'm giving this car a 4 out of 5. For practicality, you have a lot of storage spaces inside. Although sa back seats, medyo hindi naman siya masikip talaga. Pero you know that there are other compact sedans na mas malaki yung space sa likod. But the good thing about it is that you have a massive trunk space, although mas maganda sana kung natutupi mo yung backrest. So for practicality, I'm giving this car 3.5 out of 5. With a price tag that's just a hair above 3 million pesos, you get a BMW na hindi naman kulang, pero of course may konti kang hahanapin pa. Then again, price tag, and that matters especially sa mga bibili ng auto na to. So for value for money, I'm giving this car a 4 out of 5. So for Philkotse score, considering all the points I've mentioned previously, I'm giving the BMW 318i Sport an overall score of 4 out of 5. Despite being an entry-level BMW 3-er, the 318i in Sportline trim is nothing short of lackluster, especially sa mga regular consumers, and most especially for those who are looking to buy their first BMW. 3,190,000 pesos, that price tag is well within reach, especially if you have the means. Also considering na yung mga rivals ng BMW 3 Series, especially German rivals, the Mercedes C-Class and the Audi A4, those cars are a bit pricier than this model, at least 100,000 pricier. So if you're in that market, that price can be a deciding factor. But of course, don't take my word for it. Punta kayo showroom, test drive nyo for yourself.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Philkotse, the country's #1 online car portal.